Have you ever noticed how certain daily routines that once served you well might now be quietly undermining your vitality, mental clarity, and independence? As we journey past 70, habits that previously helped us navigate life efficiently can transform into hidden barriers to our well-being. The most troubling part? Almost no one discusses these patterns until their effects have already taken hold, leaving you with unexplained stiffness, diminished energy, and that unsettling feeling that your capabilities are slipping away. Today, we're exploring 6 unexpected habits worth reconsidering after 70, not because convention dictates it, but because releasing them could open the door to a more vibrant, confident, and fulfilling chapter of life. These aren't abstract concepts or unrealistic goals, they're common patterns many seniors unconsciously adopt, and shifting them now could help you reclaim aspects of yourself you thought were fading. If you find value in content that empowers rather than diminishes, please consider subscribing and activating notifications. Your support enables us to continue creating resources that celebrate the wisdom of aging while offering practical pathways to greater well-being. I'd love to know where you're watching from today. Drop your location in the comments below. It's always fascinating to see how our community spans across different regions, each with unique perspectives on aging well. Now, let's dive into what matters most. 1. Avoiding strength-building movement. Many believe that aging means necessarily slowing down and avoiding physical exertion. It seems logical, joints feel stiffer, balance becomes less reliable, and lifting anything heavier than groceries might seem risky. This protective instinct leads many to reduce movement, believing that rest equals safety. In reality, avoiding strength-focused activities is one of the quickest routes to losing independence. After 70, muscle deterioration, sarcopenia, accelerates unless we consciously counteract it. This doesn't require becoming a gym enthusiast. Even modest resistance using body weight, light dumbbells, or resistance bands can yield remarkable benefits. Consider Thomas, who at 84 avoided most exercise after a minor fall left him fearful of injury. He limited himself to brief walks and safe routines. After consulting with a physical therapist, he discovered that inactivity was causing more harm than movement ever could. He began with simple 5-minute strength exercises, standing from a chair without using his arms, lifting household items, and practicing balance by standing on one foot while holding the kitchen counter. Within weeks, his legs felt stronger and his confidence began returning. The power of intentional movement extends beyond physical capability. It nurtures self-respect and the confidence to rise from bed without hesitation, navigate a store independently, or join grandchildren in play knowing you can get back up again. Strength provides freedom, and it doesn't demand hours of your day. Consistent basic movements can begin restoring what time has attempted to diminish. Most people overlook this because muscle loss progresses silently. It doesn't cause immediate pain. You notice it in subtle ways, becoming winded more quickly, finding stairs increasingly challenging, or needing to push against armrests just to stand. The earlier you address it, the easier it is to reverse. It's never too late, and you don't need specialized equipment, just the conviction that maintaining strength matters more than taking it easy. 2. Maintaining outdated eating patterns. A common misconception after 70 is that you can continue eating exactly as you did decades ago. Same portions, same meal timing, same comfort foods, cycling through your week. It feels familiar and comforting, and for years it may have worked perfectly well. But your body no longer operates on the same system it did 30 years ago. Your metabolism has slowed, digestion may be less efficient, and your nutritional requirements have evolved. Yet many continue eating out of habit rather than hunger, a pattern that can lead to weight gain, energy depletion, and gradual blood sugar imbalances. After 70, each meal carries greater significance. You may require less food overall, but your body craves more nutrient-dense, easily digestible options that support bone health, cognitive function, and sustained energy. This means reducing portions of heavy meats, refined carbohydrates, and processed foods in favor of smaller, balanced meals rich in fiber-filled vegetables, lean proteins, healthy fats, and hydrating fruits. Eleanor, at 77, had never questioned her eating habits, 3 generous meals daily, just as she'd always enjoyed. Gradually, she noticed changes: post-dinner bloating, afternoon energy crashes, and clothing that fit differently. Her physician suggested a gentle approach, slightly smaller portions, more vegetables, and greater attention to fullness cues. Within a month, she not only shed a few pounds, but experienced improved alertness, better sleep, and an unexpected emotional balance. This isn't about restrictive dieting, it's about thoughtful adjustment. Just as you wouldn't still wear shoes from decades past, your eating habits should evolve alongside your changing body. Consuming mindfully isn't deprivation, it's offering your body exactly what it needs while eliminating excess that weighs you down. When meals are intentional and balanced, your body responds with increased energy, clearer thinking, and more stable moods. Creating new eating habits in this life chapter isn't surrender, it's self-care. You're not abandoning food enjoyment, you're building a healthier relationship with nourishment, discovering what truly satisfies and supports your best self. 3. Withdrawing from social connection. After 70, it becomes surprisingly easy to drift into isolation without fully recognizing it. Perhaps you venture out less frequently, cancel plans more often, or convince yourself that staying home is simply more comfortable. Sometimes physical challenges contribute, other times emotional factors play a role. Feeling you have less to offer, or noticing that others don't check in as they once did. Gradually, you withdraw. You might tell yourself the quiet is pleasant, that you're content with your own company, but social isolation isn't merely a lifestyle choice, it's a genuine health concern. Research indicates that disconnection among older adults correlates with depression, cognitive decline, and even increased cardiovascular risks. The brain flourishes through interaction. When regular engagement fades, the mind tends to turn inward, often unproductively. Casual conversations, shared laughter, even brief phone calls function like mental workouts, maintaining cognitive sharpness, emotional equilibrium, and crucially, your sense of significance. Margaret, at 81, gradually distanced herself from her social circle following her husband's passing. What began as a need for space extended into years of increasing isolation. Her thinking became foggy, days blurred together, and her motivation waned. When her daughter encouraged her to try a weekly senior art class, Margaret reluctantly agreed. What surprised her wasn't the creative activity but the connection. The pre-class conversations, the shared experiences, the simple joy of being among others. It reintroduced a vibrancy she hadn't realized was missing. This doesn't mean filling your calendar with social events or attending crowded gatherings. It means finding small ways to maintain connection, a regular phone call with a friend, a neighborhood walk with someone nearby, a community group at your place of worship, or even an online interest group. These moments of engagement function as emotional nutrients, lifting your spirits and reminding you that you're not navigating this journey alone. What makes isolation particularly deceptive is that it can feel safe, quiet, predictable, uncomplicated. But there's a profound difference between enjoying solitude and disconnecting from the world. One replenishes, the other gradually depletes. Your stories, kindness, humor, and presence enrich others, even when you don't recognize it. When you reach out, you're not just nurturing yourself, you're reminding someone else they matter too. 4. Dismissing minor health changes. One of the riskiest patterns that develops after 70 is ignoring subtle physical symptoms because they seem insignificant or familiar. Occasional dizziness, mild chest discomfort, or unusual afternoon fatigue might be attributed simply to getting older. You may hesitate to raise concerns, not wanting to cause worry, or face another medical appointment. So you remain silent. But dismissing these subtle signals can have serious consequences, especially in later life when early detection is crucial for preventing major complications. As we age, the body becomes more vulnerable but also more communicative, if we're listening attentively. Symptoms once easily dismissed may now carry greater significance. Ankle swelling could indicate cardiovascular issues. Occasional forgetfulness might not be merely a harmless lapse, but an early warning sign of something requiring attention. The longer these signals go unaddressed, the more challenging conditions become to treat, manage, or reverse. Identifying potential issues early doesn't reflect anxiety, it demonstrates wisdom. It preserves options and maintains your sense of control, both invaluable assets worth protecting. Consider Robert, 79, who always prided himself on resilience and rarely sought medical attention unless absolutely necessary. When his vision became increasingly blurry and he experienced tingling in his feet, he attributed these changes to normal aging. Only after his daughter's persistent encouragement did he consult a physician who diagnosed early-stage diabetes. Because they caught it promptly, he could manage it through dietary changes and exercise. His doctor was candid. Further delay might have allowed progression beyond simple intervention. You are the foremost expert on your own body. When something feels unusual or concerning, you have every right to take it seriously. Not from fear, but from responsibility. Not all health issues announce themselves dramatically. Many develop quietly, and as we age, attending to these subtle signals becomes increasingly important. Addressing concerns promptly often leads to simpler solutions, fewer medications, and better quality of life. This includes trusting your instincts when you feel healthcare providers aren't fully listening. You're entitled to ask questions, seek additional opinions, and advocate for your well-being. After spending a lifetime caring for others, extending that same attention to yourself isn't selfish, it's essential. 5. Relying exclusively on memory. After 70, one commonly overlooked habit is depending too heavily on memory alone. Perhaps you've always remembered appointments, birthdays, and medication schedules without written reminders, and for most of your life that system worked flawlessly, so you continue mentally tracking your schedule, reminding yourself to make calls later, or managing medications without external systems. But here's the subtle risk. Memory functions differently now, and relying on it without backup can lead to minor oversights that develop into significant problems. Missing a lunch date is inconvenient. Forgetting whether you've taken important medication is potentially dangerous and more common than many admit. You might accidentally take a dose twice or skip it entirely, assuming you've already taken it. These moments of uncertainty can lead to serious health complications, especially with medications that regulate blood pressure, manage diabetes, or control pain. Writing things down isn't admitting defeat, it's demonstrating intelligence. It safeguards your well-being and reduces unnecessary mental burden. James, at 75, always took pride in his exceptional memory. He managed household finances, remembered every important date, and never used calendars. After missing a specialist appointment and forgetting his morning medications twice in 1 week, he recognized something had changed. Initially, he felt embarrassed, as though acknowledging a failure. But after implementing a simple notebook system and phone alarms, he discovered he wasn't just better organized, he was less anxious. He described it as finally setting down a weight he hadn't realized he was carrying. Our brains manage far more than we recognize, and with decades of accumulated knowledge, it's entirely normal for short-term memory to become less reliable. This doesn't indicate dysfunction, it simply means your system benefits from additional support. Keeping notes, maintaining a visible calendar, using medication organizers, or setting digital reminders aren't signs of forgetfulness. They're intelligent strategies for staying organized without overtaxing memory. What often surprises people is how liberating it feels to transfer tasks from mind to visible system, It clears mental clutter, reduces stress, and fosters greater confidence. You stop second-guessing yourself and repeatedly reviewing the same mental checklists. Instead, you trust your established systems, allowing your mind welcome relief. 6. Complete technology avoidance. One of the most limiting patterns many people over 70 unconsciously adopt is completely turning away from technology. Perhaps it seems overwhelmingly complex. Previous attempts left you frustrated, or you've convinced yourself it's simply not relevant to your life. You might say, "I don't need all that," or "I'm too old to learn," or "I've managed perfectly well without it." While these thoughts might provide momentary comfort, they quietly create distance between you and tools that could genuinely enhance your life, making daily tasks simpler, safer, and more connected. Technology doesn't require immersing yourself in social media or purchasing every new device. It can be as straightforward as learning to send messages, use voice assistants for reminders, or access health records online. These aren't merely trendy conveniences, they're practical resources that help manage prescriptions, maintain family connections, summon assistance during emergencies, and access information instantly. By completely avoiding technology, you're not escaping pressure, you're potentially increasing dependence on others. Consider Patricia, 81, who called her son whenever she needed to check appointment schedules or request medication refills. He always helped willingly, but Patricia increasingly felt dependent. When her granddaughter demonstrated how to use calendar and reminder applications on her phone and access pharmacy services online, the transition wasn't immediate. There were questions, mistakes, and moments of frustration, but within weeks she found herself handling tasks independently that once required multiple calls for assistance. She experienced something she hadn't felt in years: capability. That's the heart of this issue, not mastering cutting-edge technology but reclaiming independence. Small technological victories accumulate quickly: checking weather forecasts, reading messages, receiving medical alerts, or joining virtual classes. These modest steps reinforce your adaptability, growth potential, and continued engagement with the surrounding world. You needn't become a technology expert, just maintain a spark of curiosity and find someone patient to guide you. If you felt embarrassed about not understanding certain features, release that feeling. Everyone begins somewhere and no one expects immediate mastery. What matters is giving yourself permission to learn. Technology isn't aging's adversary, it's a powerful ally. The more receptive you become to it, the more possibilities you create for yourself in return. As we conclude, take a moment to reflect on what we've explored together. Which of these habits resonates with your experience? Which surprised you most? After 70, life's rules shift, yet no one provides an updated guidebook. That's why it's so easy to settle into familiar routines that gradually undermine your health, independence, and peace of mind. But here's the truth: it's never too late to adjust course. You don't need to transform your entire life overnight. Simply recognizing these 6 patterns and taking one small step away from them can lead to greater clarity, renewed energy, and restored confidence. Whether incorporating more movement into your routine, modifying your diet to reflect current needs, or finally asking someone to help you navigate that new phone, you're not falling behind, you're learning to move forward purposefully. Aging doesn't mean stepping aside, it means stepping up with accumulated wisdom and using it to shape your remaining years into something lighter, steadier, and more fulfilling. These habits may seem minor initially, but every decision favoring your well-being powerfully affirms that you still matter, your time remains valuable, and some of your finest moments still await. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Share in the comments one insight that particularly resonated and how you plan to apply it. Your voice enriches our community, so please join the conversation. Your responses provide both motivation and joy. If you found this content valuable, please like, subscribe, and share with others who might benefit. Your support enables us to continue creating meaningful resources that inform and uplift. Until next time, remember that each small change opens the door to new possibilities.